Hello everybody, we are here on Game 4 of the UTA versus UBC series. Down here in the right we have AznCloudBoi, better known as Jeff, spawning on Jungle Basin, and up here on this side we have AlphaIIOmega spawning for University of British Columbia. And Jeff here, he is the highest rated player, not just highest rated pros, but also the highest rated player on UTA right now. He is about almost 3,600 masters. Then over here, AlphaIIOmega, and he's not quite as high rated as Nova Solid, but he's definitely a force to be reckoned with. He's about 3,100 masters. Definitely nobody to underestimate. And one of the biggest things you can do in any kind of a competitive setting is to try not to underestimate your opponent. If you underestimate the person you're playing just based on like their ladder ranking or something, you will actually get destroyed if they actually end up being better than what their ladder ranking suggests. And anyway, about the map here, this is on Jungle Basin. This is a map that really should have been removed from the map pool by CSL. I don't know why they're still using it. Blizzard actually took it out of their own map pool a couple of months ago now. And it's really, the problem here being is that there's two entrances into your base. And if this entrance didn't have anything back here, if there wasn't a connection here that the Protoss could warp in from, this actually wouldn't be such a problem. It'd be a little bit more like Delta Quadrant. But the thing is, you can put a proxy pylon down here and warp in Zealots or DTs or whatever crazy units you want to do and just run them up this ramp. So even if they're walled in up here, you can just run in through the back here and wreak havoc upon these upon the worker lines. It looks like AlphaIIOmega starting his racks up here, possibly going to do a 2 racks opening. So you see that sometimes in Terran versus Protoss, they could pressure with some Marines early on because it's hard for Protoss to get out units on in the early game. And if you scout 2 racks going down for a Terran when you're playing Protoss, you usually want to go ahead and throw down your second gateway just to be safe, because otherwise you can get caught off guard if you go for a fast robo. No Iodine going down yet, just going to get a Marine out to chase out that probe. Probe already showed himself the door. He's not going to be scouting anymore. And let's see, what did he see? Oh wow, Jeff actually not even scouting for gas. It's a little bold there. I always like to see if there's at least one gas, he's going to be going for some kind of a fast expand. And Tech Lab going down. Most likely going to be Marauder opening, obviously not Reapers. You don't see Reapers very often in Protoss versus Terran. This Concussive Shell going down immediately, so yeah, he's going to be committed to Marauders for a while. Maybe doing a 1 racks Marauder expand, if not maybe 2 or 3 racks. It's either going to be 3 racks or 1 racks. If it was 2 racks, he would have already started and been making Marines. Of course, Jeff has a pylon going down here in the back. Maybe going to see some proxy attack, or he's going to attack with that. If he was going to warp stuff in immediately from that, he would have put it closer over here. So I'm thinking he's going to be doing some kind of a proxy. Yeah, he's leaving that probe there. This is definitely going to be some kind of a proxy. I'll have to come back and check on that. Meanwhile, 2 warp gates coming in. No robo yet. Very risky. See, if he had scouted it, if there was 2 gases for the Terran now, he would have had to throw down a robo to be safe from Banshees, but he's actually pretty bold. He's pretty confident in what he's doing right now. And let's see, what does he see? Oh my god, he's going to lose this Stalker. Very dangerous to poke out with that. That's why you want to scout the Terran base and see if there's going to be a Tech Lab going down, and know if there's fast Marauders, because you can lose your Stalkers like that in the early game. And we've got 2 sentries coming out for Jeff. He's going to be able to hold off this push. Won't be able to kill it, they'll be able to force field him out and keep them out of his base. And here they come, only 2 sentries to defend. There goes a force field, very poorly placed force field. Maybe Jeff is a little nervous. He's going to jerry-rig another force field to keep those Marauders out. He's got a Stalker and a Zealot coming out to defend. Meanwhile, we have a Twilight Council going down here. Probably going to see a DT rush, considering that he's proxying it. If he was going for Blink, he probably wouldn't proxy. And AlphaIIOmega just going to walk into the base here and just start picking off units. Jeff's forced to pull some probes off the line to buffer for the Stalker here. He's only got 1 Stalker left to deal damage, as well as a Sentry, but Sentries really don't do a whole lot of damage. They just tickle. And yeah, the probe's going to finally take down some Marauders from the looks of it. Now, a key thing that's going on here is that AlphaIIOmega walked into this base and only saw 2 warp gates. He didn't see 3 warp gates, he didn't see a robo, so if I'm a Terran player, and this AlphaIIOmega guy, he's definitely very experienced, so he's most likely going to feel pretty suspicious right now, and as you can see, he has already got a... Oh, where'd it go? Yeah, the engineering bay going down, so he's definitely thinking something fishy is going on. And yeah, he's right on the money right there. There's a dark shrine coming up, as well as startings of a proxy pylon. Yeah, there it goes. Proxy pylon gonna warp in the back here. Try to do a little damage to this marine, the SCV line here. Meanwhile, we have an expansion going down for Jeff, as well as a couple more units to help defend. And the great thing about another big gripe about this map is that Protoss and Terrans can easily take this second expansion. It's a 2-gas expansion pretty safely, so you can do like a forge expand, just make cannons up here in the front and just take this expansion back here, and for almost no cost. It's pretty easy to do. And Terran and Protoss on 2 base are a lot stronger than Zerg on 2 base, so that's another one of the reasons why we saw this map removed from the pool. And AlphaIIOmega he's got a supply depot spot for anything warping in. He does see that proxy pylon there. Got a stalker warping in here. He's gonna try to shoot at that missile turret. Oh, here comes the first DT for Jeff. See if we can do some damage. Yeah, he's gonna take out that missile turret going down. He's gonna hopefully pick up some mules. Yeah, he's gonna stop that other missile turret going down. But AlphaIIOmega does have a scan. The stalker here gonna pick up this depot most likely. Got another DT warping in. Doesn't look like... No. AlphaIIOmega has almost enough energy for a scan. That supply depot is also going to burn down. He's going to be supply block from that. And Jeff's going to pick off that SCV. How did you see that? That's weird. Is there a missile turret already up? You saw that DT for a second. Oh, there's the scan. You're going to lose that DT. And I think that's probably going to be the end of the DT pressure. Because the missile turrets, yeah, he's got a missile turret down here in the natural, and missile turret over here, and another one over here. Is there one by this mineral line? No, you could possibly do some damage with a warp prism, but that missile turret's going to spot any warp prisms trying to come in. Meanwhile, for Jeff, he's got 2 more gateways warping in, as well as a robo. Most likely going to see him go for Colossus. And he's fully mining off these 2 bases. Take a look at the income tab here. Jeff is up about 6 workers, and the income's about the same because of mules. So we're pretty even in the economic game now, I think. Yeah, about AlphaIIOmega is actually 4 food up. So I don't think those DTs did nearly as much damage. That's the problem with the DT opening, is you actually need to do damage. If you go for any kind of harass opening, whether it be with Phoenixes or DTs or Void Rays, whatever, you need to do damage for them to pay for themselves. Otherwise, you can have these useless units, because, I mean, DTs, once you have scans or ravens or whatever, they're not very useful in combat. They're not like banshees. So if you don't do damage with them in the early game, which is what this proxy is supposed to do, you're supposed to catch them off guard and do a lot of damage, but in this case, I don't think Jeff did quite as much damage as he would have liked to, even though he did do some and kept the Terran on the back foot, forced a lot of missile turrets, so those DTs definitely did a little bit of damage. Got a second engineering bay going down for AlphaIIOmega, probably going to start that +1 armor. No, he's already got +1 armor. He's going to start +2 armor as soon as does he have an armory going down. No, he doesn't. He is researching combat shield. A couple of stalkers over here not doing much. And AlphaIIOmega is just going to go for a ton of Marines and Marauders. Good old MM build. Swapping that factory over there is going to make a tech lab with it. And now he's going to put this starport on the tech lab. What he's going to do with that? And he's going to make a Raven. Very good. And another thing about the DT opening is your opponent cannot push out until they either save up a ton of scans or... Oh, observer coming in the scout. I thought that may have been a warp prism. But once the Terran knows that there's DTs on the field, he cannot push out until he either saves up a bunch of scans or gets a Raven out, and it looks like he's going to get that Raven to make himself safe to push out. He's as well going to start getting that third base going. You know, at this point in the game, it would probably be pretty smart for Jeff to go for a 3rd base, just because he knows his hunt's pretty well contained. He's got that thermal lance going down, as well as his first Colossus out. It's got a pretty even game so far. 57 workers to 62. Slight Protoss favor, but of course mules are going to even that out. And AlphaIIOmega is about 20 food up, so you probably get a lot of Marines and Marauders. There's an Observer checking that out. As soon as this Raven pops, that Observer's going to die, most likely. So Jeff does know there's an expansion going down for AlphaIIOmega. When he sees that, he probably should think about expanding himself. Yeah, that's what he's doing. He's going for that third base. Excuse me, my voice is getting dry. Now, one thing about this map is what you want to do, especially in Protoss versus Terran. Holding this middle area is a very, very important part of the game. If you can keep your opponent from expanding here and keep your own expansion up on your side, you can be pretty well off, because these side expansions can be pretty difficult to defend at times. Usually you want to get them as your fourth in PvT, but in PvZ I usually like to take this as my third if I spawn here. And in PvT, it's probably a little more viable to take this Nexus here, and then put some cannons up to defend any flanks that come. Because if you expand over here, then you can keep your you have to keep your army over here, and then come over here to do. Oh my God! Jeff's actually going to spot this drop coming. Very nice. Always a good idea to build these pylons on the sides of the map so you can spot these drop ships coming. Of course, AlphaIIOmega is going to take that out, and he's just going to lift off, and he's going to go for the drop anyway. Doesn't seem to really care that Jeff has already spotted that. But Jeff is just looks like he's going to do a push here. He's going to deny that expansion from going down. And oh my God, he's actually not going to do anything to clean this up. Now he's got 4 stalkers. With a little bit of engagement here. Got forced to lift in that command center. Keep him going down for a little bit. Got some good force fields to keep that Marine Marauder army out. And he's also not seeming like he's going to be cleaning this up anytime soon. Now I think Jeff is a little bit in panic mode. He is banking about 16